the papers that were signed, or they lost the papers that were signed. So regardless, they're also included in this sale.
Once we go through the, when you decided everything, then we'll get your addresses. We don't want you to pay for anything
I think you emailed me some last year, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Or dropped it at my house or something. Yeah.
Email.
So, okay, that's a good idea. I'll take your email also. Okay. Now, not only are we talking about the food stuff and all mixtures of foods, it also includes medicines. Sometimes medicines, there's two kinds of alcohol. There's a grain alcohol and there's isopropyl alcohol. Isopropyl alcohol is okay for us during pills, but not grain alcohol. So any medication that has a mixture of grain alcohol or wheat in it, it's also included in this sale. And all pots or pans that have in them unclean well, so there may be some residues in the pots. Some of those pots also.
Also, any people may have pets,
animals,
fish tanks or bird tanks where
animals.
They're not any animals, which they're not going to have to take care of. They'll put them away and they're yours for the week, and they probably provide for them for food. So so you're covered on that. So those animals also belong to you.
Okay.
No, it makes
my fish tank also. Actually, I'm on the food. I have kosher Pesach food, but in case anything there, it's yours.
You mean to come over and feed them?
Yeah. No, I'll do you a favor. I'll feed that for you. I'll sell you the fish.
All right.
Now, when we talk about food, it makes no difference if it's cooked, if it's fried, if it's roasted, if it's broiled, whatever way, rotisserie, any type of food in any form and shape that has a mixture of grain in it is included in the sale. Okay. Now, in order to make a sale, make it legal, in fact, I don't know if I ever gave you it, but here is an English translation
you have in past years,
of the document that we made over here. It's an English translation.
Okay.
So, and it's prepared legally and everything.
Okay.
Now, there's also stores. People have stores with, groceries or other type of stores. There's nursing homes that people have to serve food to the residents, and all this is also included in the sale. During the week of the holiday, it's yours. Now, there's stuff that is going to arrive. People have things that are on order that has to come in by mail, that has to come in by ship, by plane, any type of transportation, even if it's arriving during the holiday, but it was already pre-ordered before the holidays. That's included in this sale. And as he mentioned, the animals also are also included in the sale that have to eat. Okay. Now, in order to make the sale an official sale, we do various.
Also, Barimuski was telling you about everyone else's, but don't forget about me.
I won't forget about it.
Even mine is spelled out in the document.
Okay.
Everyone else is connected to it.
Okay.
Yeah, but these rabbis, some of them over here, but from all over the world. I mean, I just had a call while I was sitting here from Lima, Peru. The rabbi called me to receive his papers, So there are different ways of what we call acts of acquisition, how property can be transferred from one party to another. One of the ways to do it is by taking the item and picking it up, taking it so it goes from our possession to your possession. However, the items, we don't have them right over here because we have truckloads bigger than Eastern Park could fill up for considering all these items that was it. So I'm going to give you a key to one of the keys to these items, and through that you will have acquired the item. You have access to the item. In Hebrew, that's called a kinyan mashicha, where you take a thing from out of one's possession into another's possession. And the way to take a thing from one to take a thing is by having the key to the thing. So just okay. Here is some keys.
Okay.
Pick it up. Okay.
Can I put it here?
Yeah, put it there. Now, in addition to that, in America, you know, the dollar is the most important thing in America. Even it says on the dollar, in God we trust, but you pay cash, you know. So there's going to be, I don't know how much this stuff is worth, but it has to be evaluated and appraised and everything, and it has to be done by professionals when you're ready to pay for it. But Rabbi Hecht and myself, we will be happy with a down payment. Mm-hmm. The down payment is not a big amount of money, $100. You have $100 that you might?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Yeah. Okay. So give the Rabbi.
And we can do business.
We're in business. Okay. But what you realize with $100, you know, we're talking about millions of dollars of merchandise. So you have, when you go to the bank, you know, to take a loan, they want someone to sign for you, called the guarantor. Do you have anyone that would sign for you?
I think there's somebody here.
Someone here.
Yeah.
Do you have any proof of it?
No. Who are you?
He gave you a document, no?
Oh,
Really?
yeah, right here.
Okay.
All right.
So, Rabbi,
All right, so I see that Mr. Rabbi Lipschitz over here says that he will guarantee you in case you can't come up with all the cash. So I don't mind doing business with him. That's good.
So now that you have the guarantor, as a prominent member of our community, so as far as we're
I've seen it
concerned,
before.
as far as we're concerned, this is as though you paid up in full already, because now you don't owe anything to the rabbis that are selling to you, but you owe to the guarantor.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as the rabbis that are selling to you, it's all paid for in full. It's all yours.
Also, you didn't talk about the percentage, the discount.
What?
You're selling it to them at a 3% discount.
I'm soon going to get to that. Now, there, you may have a question in your mind. If I want to go into the food business or compete with Cisco or some other big food distributor, what do I need you? I can go to any. I can go to any wholesaler and buy from the wholesaler. So, Rabbi Hecht and myself, we're telling you that we're going to give you a discount. In other words, if you take our merchandise, then you'll have a guaranteed built-in profit, the difference between the wholesaler and us. So we're guaranteeing $100 a built-in profit above and beyond what the wholesale value of all this stuff is. So again, as we're concerned, it's paid up in full because there's the guarantee note and the down payment that you got from Mr. Lipsick. Okay. In America, people do business by word of mouth. A handshake. Just doing a handshake already. Incidentally, you want to know how long you're responsible for this thing. So the deal is that being sold to you till 3 days after the holiday. You know, the holiday ends next Saturday night. Mm-hmm. So you have Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday after the holiday. Now why 3 days added? Because we want to help you to be able to sell the stuff. Now during Passover, you're very limited. You can only sell it to other people that are not of the Jewish faith. But after Passover, you can sell it to anyone. So in order to make it easier to facilitate, we're adding another 3 days after that, and after that you'll have to deal with the guarantor about report to him and give him the funds, that he should be able, or he'll deal with you about what you're
Full payment.
purchasing. In addition to this, there are expenses like taxes and other things. So we're also taking off 3% from the sale price, from the value, in order to cover any expenses that you may incur during this time to hold on to the merchandise that you bought.
So we're selling it to you at the current wholesale price,
Less-
minus 3%.
And minus $100.
And so when you figure out, when we figure out by how much you have to give us for the full amount, you're gonna right away make a profit of 3% plus the $100.
Okay, so in the meantime, what we did was I gave you a set of keys in order to transfer over the property to you, the merchandise. You gave money as a deposit, and plus you gave a note from a guarantor, which finishes the sale entirely, paid up in full. And there was also a handshake. So there were three things. Now, in addition to that, being that you're purchasing all this merchandise, logically, you would have to take it with you and rent the storage someplace and put it all into the storage. But I don't think that that's feasible. So what we're doing also is that we're going to rent you the places where the merchandise is. And for that, on account of the rent, I don't know, we have to evaluate all the places, but the different rates of rent are different. Today in Brooklyn, it went up very much, the rent, but in other places it's less. So that'll have to be evaluated. But in the meantime, we'll suffice with a down payment towards the rental of $50. So do you have another 50?
Yeah.
I'm running you broke.
No.
No, okay.
I totally forgot, but I'm glad I had it.
Okay.
Let's see.
Any change?
Let me see. Yeah, I need change.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Oh, so you got another $50 now. Okay, now,
I'm rich.
but again, $50 is a far cry from the price of all this stuff that you're renting. So I think in that note that you gave me before, you want to see does it cover the rent?
Yeah.
responsibility
Cover the
for
rentals.
rent?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, I'll repeat what I said before. As far as we're concerned, you paid up in full for the merchandise, and you paid up in full for the rental, thanks to your friend over here, Mr. Lipsick, who is guaranteeing it all. Now there is a law in the Jewish law, which is recognized also as another form of acquisition, where there are two types of properties. There's property that's movable, and there's merchandise is property that's movable, and then there's land, which is property of not movable. In Hebrew, we have a term for it, AGAV, agav. That means to say that you could acquire the movable property through the non-movable property.
So when you buy a house, for instance, when the house becomes yours, the furniture inside also becomes yours because of you bought the house.
Right.
So in this case, you're renting the space. Automatic, the chametz that's in the space is also yours also. Okay. So there's another way, a fourth way of how the chametz is becoming yours.
Okay.
The point is we want to make the chametz yours, and through the rental it's becoming yours also.
Okay.
Now, another way is besides what I gave you a key before, as a way to get access, I'm giving you also some keys to premises, and this will help you gain entry. And any place where you want to gain entry, and it's not included in these keys, you'll check with us, and we will provide the key to the address to the building. So pick
Can I
up
take that,
these
Joe?
keys. Yeah, this is okay. Okay. Now, so basically, we did money. We did the document.
Okay.
That you still have the document. There's also the keys, and there's also the handshake. Now
And the property.
and
The property. Agav.
and the items.
The agav.
Oh, the agav. The
that's
one through the other. One.
Right.
Okay. In addition to that, there's one more thing. In English, there's a word barter. Barter, B-A-R-T-E-R. Not the the student barter the teacher, but this is barter. It's a different thing.
You didn't shake, but
No,
never made
we
you
did that already. Okay. You did the handshake before. Do you have something of yours that you give him, and in exchange of that, he gives you that? Like a,
Is this where I give it to you? You give it back
a
to
set
me?
of
Yeah,
keys
yeah,
or
it's not-
a wallet?
no one's saying it's not. It's not that it has become mine.
Okay, now you
It's the fact that you gave it to me, so I picked it up.
Right.
I figured it up automatically. What I have is coming back to you.
I got it.
It's called
Thank you.
barter. That's
Yeah.
what it's barter. That's another thing that we did now. Now, if someone sitting here or someone from the public is going to come and say something that we did was wrong, so we're preconditioning that it will not disqualify the sale. It will just rely, instead of relying on 6 things that we did for acquisition, we have 5 things.
We backed ourselves up. We're fully
In other
covered.
words, we're covering ourselves that one supports one item, one way, one method supports the other method, and there's enough methods over here. And the document I gave you an English translation, so you can read it, and it's legal, even in a court of law. Now, I want to make up another thing with you, which is not written in the document itself, but I'm making up orally. There are people who are not supposed to use any of these. If they're selling it, you're not supposed to use any of it, but they will make a mistake or they will violate. We're preconditioning that this does not cancel the sale, even though you say, "Oh, you took the no more sale." No, it's not going to cancel. But what? Either if they're in a store and they're selling it, they will sell it on your behalf as your representative. And when it comes to
The problem from that, they'll have to give you.
when it comes
they sold your
when it
merchandise.
comes to the final accounting,
Yeah.
it will be deducted from the amount that you're responsible.
Okay.
Let's say if the merchandise was worth $100 and someone ate up $10 of it, so you only owe $90. But as far
As long as I don't have to do the calculations, I'm good.
no, we'll get us. We have our own CPAs that will do it. And by us, a CPA, I mean accounting, not cleaning, pressing, and alteration. Okay, that's one thing. Now, there are people who are going away for the holiday, and they're closing up their house for the holiday. So, or there are people that have businesses. Let's say people have a nursing home, and they have to serve food to the. So, included in this sale is either the whole apartment, or the whole house, or the business. Whatever it is, it's all included in the sale. Even though I added it on the bottom, I added it by hand to over here. I don't know if I added it in the English also.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
there you see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Good. You have everything is there. I'm not making up. I'm not making up anything over here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now, when you buy something, it's yours. So if I'm renting you the place where the stuff is, I'm selling you the place the stuff is. If I go into that place, that's trespassing. It's against the law. So we're asking you permission that if someone has to go, let's say to get the mail or to get something that's in the house or in the room, he has to get something that he forgot, and it's in that room, or an important document, that you give him permission
Or
to
you have to go take out the garbage and you have to pass by the
whatever it is. You need maybe a medicine, or whatever it is. So we're asking you to please give him permission to go in a temporary way if he needs access to the place that he's renting.
Yes.
Rent. Okay, good. So now basically,
You have it on tape.
basically, I believe that I covered everything that's over here. It says in this Hebrew document that you have a right to translate this in English. If you want to know what it is, so I gave you an English translation,
Yeah.
so you don't have to you don't even have to bother to translate it. Now, any of the rabbis have anything to add over here?
Exchange.
Excuse me, rabbis. Anyone have anything to add? No? Okay. So now that
You should make a one of
Now that-
exchange.
now that we've
Yes.
Barter.
now that we've finished going through this document,
And also what entrance you want to begin that you don't have over here that you should want to go in. And also that you have access to go in
Right.
anytime, anywhere.
Right.
You don't
Which
have
I'm
the
not gonna
keys.
do.
You don't have
Yeah.
the keys, but
okay, I think
You
I
can.
covered everything.
you should know. No, we didn't bring all the keys from
Okay, so,
everyone.
okay.
It's important.
Okay,
You
now-
should know. It's not
To make the
Not a
thing
joke.
official,
Yeah.
Rabbi Hecht and myself, we will sign
Okay.
this document. 'Cause did I ever used to sign?
Yeah, I know.
Ben. Okay, we will sign also.
Let's hope that the President Biden's inflation doesn't eat up my 3% discount.
Oh, okay.
Well, the price will go up.
A good
Price will-
point.
you
Yeah,
may-
true. Maybe I'll
may-
make some money.
In 8 days, you may